Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show, where truth definitely matters. You can find us on the radio at icradio.media, where we are Fox News affiliates. You can also find us on television, Channel 182 Charter Communications and Abundance Television Syndicated, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Hi, everybody in all 50 states. I think everybody in all 50 states is at least a few people are watching, so we appreciate that. Good. You can also find us on the Newscasters, the newscasterstudio.com. That's where we have the podcast, and it is video, so you can find us that way as well. And just, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate the sponsors. I appreciate you guys who watch. And you know, some people, like a potential sponsor, will ask. You know, I remember Bobby Ledbetter with Twin City Used Car Sales. First time he sponsored, he said, "Why should I be a sponsor with you?" And I said, "Because we have the best sponsors. And we also have the best listeners, and we also have the best guests, and they get to say what they want to say." And I think that's probably Chuck and Mary Lynn Bailey with Alabama Fair Tax. And they have been on the show for how many years now?
Since forever.
Yeah, I don't even know.
I was looking. I think it's about 9 years now.
Yeah,
absolutely. All the different stations.
Long time.
Yeah, we've y'all followed me on all the stations, and I appreciate you doing that too, because it's important that you have wonderful guests who know their stuff, and you guys definitely know tax. I'm just telling you. I thought of you when I heard Kamala Harris was talking about capital gains, and we discussed this a little bit last time you guys were on the show. Mm-hmm. In your opinion, if that were to happen, what's that going to do for the nice little old lady who's widowed and her husband bought the house 50 years ago? It's all paid for. What would that do to her?
It'd be devastating.
At a minimum, it'd be life-changing, because it depends on whether her spouse was richer than all get out, or they're living on a Social Security check, which a lot of people live on, which was not the way it was set up to begin with. But you know, they don't have enough money to pay all that capital gain stuff.
Yeah, well, the thing about it wouldn't be just the little old lady; it would be everyone.
And on top of that, it's just plain out old government theft if they do that.
Yeah, if you look at what happened in the UK, they went to that sort of thing with trying to get rid of the rich and the taxes there, the death taxes, inheritance taxes. It's a similar sort of thing, but it devastates everyone, and I think that's probably who they're going after. To be honest, the poor people who have less are just, they're just what?
They have a hard time creating jobs if they've got nothing.
No, it's just that they don't really care about those people. They can go by the wayside as long as they can get the rich.
Oh, wait a minute. So you mean that I'm poor and I vote for the Democrats because I think they're going to help me? You mean it won't be forever?
It won't even get started.
I think that people are beginning to wake up. If you look at RFK Jr., you look at Tulsi Gabbard, and those people
Elon Musk.
Yeah, they actually are seeing that what the Democrat Party is now is not what it was. Well, it is a changed being. It has morphed into something that is really scary.
Can't remember the guy's name, but he was a fellow, I believe, that the Kardashian worked with Trump, and they got him out of jail because
it's Kanye.
Well, anyway, it was the guy had been in jail for 30 years or something, and with no chance to get out, and Trump got him out, and he was at Madison Square Garden yesterday saying, "My boy is Trump."
Yeah. There was a woman, too, who had been put in prison.
For some, it was for drug. I think it was a drug.
Well, it was one of Joe Biden, that crime bill that was passed in the 90s. She was just a casualty of that. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. And it was Kardashian. You were right about that. Yeah.
What is the appeal for Trump, though? I know what the news media says. I get that, but you can't believe everything they say. But I'm talking about real people like me, people who boots on the ground, people that actually get out there and we see our neighbors and we know. I mean, I'm seeing Trump flags all over the place around here. Mm-hmm. Now we got a few libs that live close to me. Yeah. They're kind of quiet. They're not putting anything. I don't see any Kamala signs around here. I'll put it to you that way.
Sure.
Yeah.
But I'm talking, what is the appeal for the news media to say he's such a rude person? Why do we all have an appeal for him?
That's because the mainstream media has convinced those people that are against him. They've convinced him that what he says is what matters, not what he does.
Well,
look at what he's done, and you'll say, "Wait a minute, that's not the same Trump that they're talking about."
The mainstream media, though, is an arm of the Democrat Party. They get their talking points. In fact, you can get their talking points if you want them. There's I think it's called a political playbook. They send it out every day.
Every day, you just go read it, and you know what's happening that day.
Yeah.
You can. I mean, and first of all, I kind of think maybe it goes out to everybody. I think they probably push a button and here are your talking points, and it goes out to all of them.
Mm-hmm.
To all of the media. But I mean, I don't get.
It has to be because they're all saying the exact same phrase all the time.
I know it's all the same thing. Say it enough, and people are going to believe it. I think they really think that's how it is. But now I say, seeing is believing.
Yeah.
Now I think. I don't know. I haven't seen how many people actually tuned in to the Madison Square Garden rally last night, but you know
a replay of Hitler's Nazi rally.
Yeah, it was a replay of Hitler's Nazi back in the 30s.
1939.
Yeah, that was.
When I see Kamala up there and she's doing all this that makes me think of the Nazi rally.
But at any rate, he was there and he had 20,000 people, and I haven't seen the stats on the number of people that tuned in, but when he was on Joe Rogan, he had over 30 million people watching him there, and you know you're going to get a completely different look at Donald Trump watching that compared to what is told about him on television. So.
Well, let me ask your opinion on this. Okay, so let's just say let's just say it's a college football game. So one coach is doing nothing but spreading hate, wishing the other one dies, and all this kind of stuff. But he says now he loves all people. Mm-hmm. But then I see the other team; they're not doing that. They're just playing ball. They're just doing their job. They're doing what they're supposed to be. In your opinion, which one is the really hate-filled one? I mean,
yeah.
Yeah,
they're doing their job and just not saying hate stuff. Yeah. But I wish death on the other team. Well, to me, that's hate filled.
Yeah, that's going to win every time. I wish death on the other team.
Yeah, it make me want to root for you. Yeah, you know what? If they wish death on another team, you do something out of the way, they're going to wish death on you. That's just the way thugs are.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, well, if you look at what's happening now, if you look at Kamala's rallies and Trump's, you compare the two, Kamala has to bust people in. And I actually heard an anecdote. There was a woman who said that she could make $700 and get a free ride and a free meal if she would, ride the bus to Kamala's rally. And I guess they do that in the different areas.
Yeah.
But, look at they promised Beyonce. And then twice that happened.
She's going to have a big concert. She shows up and sits.
So, she talked about being a mother.
Oh, that's great.
But I've also heard anecdotes about, people, liberals who are for Kamala going to Trump rallies just to see what's going to happen and expecting to be, treated very badly. And instead they're embraced.
Never happened.
Embraced with love. And
the ones I've been to have been no riffraff, except for a liberal who got in.
Yeah. Well, if they try to cause a problem, that's one thing. But I've seen several people who actually they filmed it. It was a blog sort of video. Was a blog.
Yeah, we're gonna film me getting beat up at a Trump rally.
Yeah, and they would walk. He would walk up to people and say, I'm a liberal. He said, I'm for Kamala. And they'd say, well, am I going to be hurt, coming to this rally? And they said, no, come on and join us. And, we're having a lot of fun. And
he left a changed man.
Well, I've
got an idea of what we can do. The four of us, y'all and me and Phil. Why don't we jump on that bandwagon and get $700? And then get we'll get the free meal, and then I'll wear my MAGA cap.
You don't want to do that because they'll go after you with the MAGA cap. But I actually proposed that.
Well, you just show me, and I'd go, yeah, sure, I'm for her. Next, can I have another piece of chicken?
I proposed that to our children. When I found out about that, I was telling the story. We had gone out to dinner with our family, and I said, I'd be willing to do that. Just take the $700. You get a free meal, you get a free ride. I don't know that I can't. I have trouble listening to Kamala speak. I can only
use earplugs.
I
grew up in a crazy family. I can look at somebody and act like I'm listening to everything they say, and I can tune them out. I know how to do that. I've got that in an art form. So I say the four of us do that. Would that be $700 each?
See, I don't.
$1,400. I'll do it.
I wonder where you go.
I think it's too late now.
We've only got 9 days left. I think 8 days. 8 days left. So
I've got to go to South Carolina. Is she going to be in South Carolina anytime soon?
I don't know.
She was supposed to be on Joe Rogan, and she says, "Well, wait a minute, I'm not going there." She saw how well it went.
Well, I got an idea. We can get there free and make $700 a piece. Okay, so we're going to.
I don't know where you find out about it. This was like secondhand information from someone who's in a beauty shop, and hearing the story of a woman who's actually she was one of the people that worked at the beauty shop. So I've got it third hand, but I said for $700 I'd do it.
That sounds like, say, I'm from a small town, and we had like homecoming queen, like class beauty and stuff like that. And I hate to say this, but the girls actually won their daddies, like owned a business, and like our majorettes weren't like in tip top shape or anything like that. Our cheerleaders weren't either. So I was just, so I had an aunt who owned a business. And my aunt, and I was really shy. I got quietest and who's who. I was just really shy. I hung out in the library all the time. So my aunt said, "I want you to be homecoming queen." And I'm like, I have to get up in front of everybody. No, I don't want to be. And I said, "I'm not the pretty girl anyway." And I said, "I'm like I'm in the library. I'm the nerd of the whole class." And she said, "We'll fix you up." She said, "All you need is some makeup and get your hair fixed." And I said, "I don't want to do it." She got mad at me and didn't speak to me for years. It was going to give her it was like buying publicity.
Right.
Yeah.
Because she owned the business and all that. Well, I didn't want to do it if we had to buy me in it. I mean, what could you, because I would always know you bought me in it. I didn't win because of my great beauty.
Right.
And so I don't understand. I mean, I don't understand this thing where you have to buy people to come and listen to you.
I do see it, because if you compare the numbers, I mean, there were people yesterday that had been at Madison Square Garden, or in the vicinity of it, for
this is about 10 o'clock in the morning
on Saturday.
Sunday. Yeah, they'd been there 24 hours.
Well, more than that, because it was 24 hours plus like 7 or 8. So it was a long time.
No, I'm talking about. We saw it on TV around 10 a.m., which meant they were there.
Yeah, they had been there. Yeah. So
for a 5 o'clock show.
Yeah, but the whole point is, okay, how many people are doing what I just suggested in joke that we do? Go ahead and take $700, go to the rally, get your free food. I wonder how many people are doing that though.
I would assume there are some anyway. I don't know. I mean, you got to know. There are people who go to the rally to see Beyonce, or go to the rally to see, whatever.
Yeah.
What was that group that they had in Atlanta? I think it was Atlanta, that the twerk something.
I don't know.
I must be way behind the times. I don't. If they're like the Bee Gees or somebody like that, I don't know.
It was some group that would draw people in Atlanta.
Yeah, and the people went to watch that, and then they left.
Well, you pay me $700 instead of me paying $700 for a ticket. Well, then I might do it.
Yeah.
And I'll hitchhike back if I have to.
yeah, because I'd accidentally go Trump. They're coming after me now.
Yeah. But
what about the guy and he might have been paid, who knows? 2 guys went to one of her rallies, and they said Jesus is king.
Oh yeah,
that one.
Yeah.
And she said you must be at the wrong rally.
Right.
Yeah.
That rally is a smaller rally down the street.
Yeah, smaller. Yeah, right.
That sent a message too, and a lot of people dropped off because of that.
Mm-hmm. That wasn't a good thing. Who is telling her what to say? Who is making suggestions, or is she doing this on her own?
I think she's doing it on her own. Actually, if you think about it, she hasn't said anything other than, just platitudes and there's a Starbucks. We all learned that if you had a black top, oh yeah,
instead of a white one, you lipstick wouldn't get on it. We learned that.
Yeah.
Like I didn't have enough brains to know that, but anyway, we did learn that. Okay.
Yeah, there's a video out there. I don't know who put it out. Benny Johnson had it on his podcast, but it's a horse race, and all of these horses are things that she has said. The word salad, there's word salad, and there are, I don't know, a bunch of horses.
Things that have been, and I grew up in a middle class family, and
I worked at McDonald's. Oh man, what do you think about going to McDonald's? What do you think about that?
Yeah, look at the hate that Trump got for going there. I thought that was absolutely hilarious.
I thought. I mean, that was Trump. I think it was a great move. I'm glad.
Yeah, not only hilarious, it was smart.
Well, it was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant, but it was funny too. It just
the opposition evidently does not realize how much Trump knows that business. I mean, he knows
He's
what to
promoter. That's what promoters do.
Yeah.
He knows what to do to jack you up and get you out of there, Yeah.
And the problem that he has is that he when he talks, like on Joe Rogan, or actually at the rallies too, it's like train of thought. And he throws so much stuff out there that there's so much for them to pick through. Yeah. and use against him. So,
and get this, the more they talk about you, the more free advertising you get.
Exactly.
And the less they're talking about the other guy.
Yeah, I think the people that are really pro Hillary and pro Kamala, those are people that they're focused on one thing, and they watch MSNBC or CNBC, but fewer and fewer people are getting pulled into that now. And I think that's we go to Republic. We go to all of the Republican and Democrat political things to sell the fair tax, to make people know about the fair tax. And I have to say that the Republican Men's Club here in Huntsville, more and more, we're seeing minorities coming in. There are 20% of the group are women, and that particular meeting draws about at least 300 people once a month, and it's probably more than that.
Since it's a men's club, the women are associates, because there are several women's Republican clubs around town that they can join. So. All a lady or a wife or just someone off the street has to do is come in and sign up, and they're a member of the group.
But you can't vote.
But you can't vote when you vote for different things that the club votes for. They say, nobody, only members can do that.
It's very rare, but it is interesting to see, the people that are coming in, and like I said, they're from minorities.
Let's just say, for instance, I'm a liberal woman. Okay. I am woman, hear me roar. I sing Helen Reddy song all the time.
Yeah.
And all I'm thinking about, I like that, what they say about abortions, because I've already had 10 abortions, and I want to be able to have more abortions. And I want all my girlfriends to be able to say they've had, but then yet I can't pay my bills. I think if I had to choose one or the other, I'd rather be able to pay my bills, just go to another state where they're going to let you do that. What's to think about? That's the only platform I can see that they have is abortion. I mean, that's all I can see. I'm not seeing anything else.
Well, that's the big thing. Yeah.
But why is that such a big thing? Is that because it's the only thing you're for?
I've never understood that. I had a very good friend when we lived in Atlanta that she was very pro. She's a doctor's wife, and she was very pro-abortion. And she said the reason she was because she had a cousin who had multiple disabilities. I think he had cerebral palsy, and she said, and he hated his life and he would have been better off if he'd never been born. And I thought, that's making that judgment for someone, obviously, there is value to every life. And I think you have to understand that. And I don't think that liberals recognize that there is value to life, however it's presented. And also, you can't believe in God and be pro-abortion. You can't believe that God makes mistakes, how can God make mistakes? That's my question. I think there's a purpose.
Some of the brightest people I have ever met had disabilities. And here's what I say about mental disabilities. If you got, I just think they're misunderstood. And I think what happens is they're smart. Some of the smartest people I've met have been labeled as having disabilities.
Yeah.
Right.
But if you'll just give them a chance and let them talk at their slow pace, let them get that out, you'll find they're the brightest people in the room.
Yeah. Well, I was actually speaking more on physical disabilities, but I was reading just this morning about the law in Canada that has been passed that you can have assisted, because medical care is so difficult to get there. If you have major problems, you have to waive.
They have national health because it is so good for you.
Well, anyway, but they offer assisted euthanasia. And the first time I heard about that, there was a woman who had been had served in the Middle East in the military, and she was injured and could not walk, and she asked to have aid in fixing her house up so she could survive on her own. And they said, no, we can't do that, but we can give you counseling and counsel you to take your life. And then this morning I was reading that they're actually giving I don't know how they're offering MAID, MAID, to medical aid in
Death.
I guess it is in death, to people who are obese, to people who have depression, to people who are homeless, just a number of things that, it's just, I guess in a way, to me, it's like the childhood mutilation. If you give them a couple of years to come into themselves, they generally outgrow.
Okay, so this is just Pandora's box about to open. So let me ask you this. Okay, so if they're going to grant that, they have, they got depression or whatever, couldn't they just say, well, Donna's a MAGA person? I think that's a disability right there. So I think we need to get rid of Donna.
That's, that could be a mental illness. So, I agree.
Actually, you have no brain for a Kamala fan. But anyway,
I'm just saying.
Somebody could, depending on who is in the administration.
Exactly. Well, that's what Trump. I mean, not Trump. That's what Hitler. That's what Hitler did. They had useless feeders, and that if you were disabled in any way, if you
if you didn't have blonde hair and blue eyes, they wanted like the perfect race. They said the perfect race. There is no perfect race.
No.
Yeah. It was useless feeders.
Eaters.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. So I mean, that's essentially, if you can stretch that criteria as far as you want. If the epitome of life is being blonde and there was a Twilight Zone of that. Everybody looked alike because they all had blonde.
That was weird. I remember seeing that one. It was like, whoa, who wants to live in that?
Yeah, and so if they would counsel you to, if you.
But if you notice some of those old Twilight Zone movies or series or whatever it was, people are acting like that now. Because they're kind of like in some kind. Okay, walking around how many times have you seen somebody, and it was even more so when we were living in a big city in Charlotte, people be on their phones doing this, walking and bump into poles and stuff. I mean,
that's pretty bad.
Yeah.
We saw that happening a lot. And right up here in Albertville, I saw a guy, he worked at this grocery store. Okay. So I was going out of the grocery store. He was coming in. He almost got hit by a van.
Ooh.
And he was paying like no attention. He was looking at his, he'd apparently been on break. He was coming back into the store. So he was just doing, and didn't even look. And the guy had to screech his brakes to keep from hitting him. And then I stood there and I thought, I'm about to witness somebody getting killed.
No, it's not just, I was just going to say, it's not just people walking, though. It's people driving that do that, too. So, I mean, it is yeah.
Watching movies on their phone while they're driving.
Yeah. But, you know, when I was growing up, actually, I'm a big science fiction fan. And I read them, you know, I have a whole bookshelf full of science fiction books, classics. And they predicted all of this. You know, Michael Crichton wrote a series of stories. I think I may have told you this before. It's called In the Monkey House. I believe that's the title of the book. It has short stories in it, and one of them is Harrison Bergeron, and it talks about, you know, it's equity, not equality, but and so people who are very bright have noises. They have to wear earphones all the time and have noises, so they can't think very well, and it hinders their thinking. If you're very graceful, you're hobbled, and you know, it is. We haven't reached that point yet, but I'll tell you what. If we keep on going like this, we will. So, but they do. They were very predictive. It's incredible how prescient. I'm sorry, prescient they were. That and I, you know,
well, you remember it was a game show, and it was called The Weakest Link. Well, I liked it about the first 6 months I started watching it, but what happened is the stupid people, what they would do is they'd try to break the link. They would try to get rid of people so they could have a strong link. But I got tired of watching it because all the stupid people kept trying to make waves and problems for the smart ones who were on it. That's what the whole Democratic Party is about right now. They can't run on anything. I mean, unless you just use abortion, you can say, okay, you got that one. But just go to another state if you don't like it. I mean, you know, to go somewhere that does do abortions, just and then just move on with your life. But here's the problem. You want to take down the smart ones. And so they're trying to take down Trump, who can actually run the country. He did it like in record time, the first, and then I keep hearing all this stuff. He's another Hitler. Well, he had 4 years to make it happen the first time. Why didn't he make it happen the first 4 years? I mean, they made records on the economy.
Mm-hmm.
Made all this stuff happen.
He was hampered the first 4 years because
for success.
Because he was an outsider and he wasn't following the insiders' rules. And so you look at most of the people that come out and write books against him and everything. He fired them because they were not. You know, he'd say, "We need to do this, and you guys need to be in charge of it." And they wouldn't do it. So you fire, and you bring somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
So he got rid of a whole bunch of people like that. And now they had the long knives out since then. Even before he was done with his first term, but he's doing it differently this time.
Oh, that's what. Yeah, did you read that?
He has got what he's doing this time is he's starting 3 months before November the 6th, and he's paying for this transition team out of his own pocket because if he waits till November the 6th, the GAO controls the money and how it gets spent. So he doesn't have to listen to those guys. And most of the people they bring in with that GAO money, our money, our taxpayer money, they are corporate lobbyists, and they're not involved this time. So you're going to see a different 4 years.
You'll see a huge team difference. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Guys, let's go ahead and cut into a commercial break, and we're going to be right back in just a minute. I just saw what time it is. Time flies when you're having fun. We'll be right back. Queen City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales looks forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by our location at 901 First Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama. We sincerely look forward to serving you. At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant.
Are you ready?
We all wonder what tomorrow will bring, but the future lays itself at the feet of the prepared and surrenders to the will of the persistent. It's not easy, but today shapes you so you can shape tomorrow. With Northeast Alabama Community College, when the future asks if you're ready, you can answer
yes.
Begin your future at Northeast Alabama Community College.
The only place I buy my beef is Lone Tree Ranch in Collinsville, Alabama. Their cattle is born and raised on their ranch, grass and grain fed, and you can feel confident when you serve your family and friends because their beef is all natural and no antibiotics or hormones are added. You can buy whole beef or perhaps go in with family or friends and buy half. Their customer service is number one as they take care of the delivery to their local processor and can deliver to your home for a small added fee. They also offer herd replacement heifers. I always call Lone Tree Ranch in Collinsville, Alabama for my beef specialty recipes and cookouts, and you can too. Food shortages are increasing, so buy local by calling 256-523-6462. That's 256-523-6462.
I'm excited to announce my all-new mattress topper. In the times we're in, I wanted to bring you the best affordable mattress topper ever. So I took my two best technologies and combined them to make the ultimate mattress topper. And now you can get it for as low as $69.98. Queen size only $99.98. It all starts with my famous MyPillow foam that provides you that overall full body support. Second is the individual comfort supports that give you an amazing custom sleep experience. It's like it's made specifically for you. The queen size alone has over 14,000 comfort supports. This is the perfect mattress topper to improve any bed. New bed, old bed, your guest beds. Get them for every bedroom in your house. Go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get the all-new My Mattress Topper for as low as $69.98. Queen size only $99.98. Don't delay. Order today.
Good afternoon. We're back. My name is Donna, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show, where truth matters. You can find us on the radio at icradio.media, where we are Fox News affiliates. You can also find us on television, Channel 182 Charter, and you can find us syndicated on Abundance Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. And don't forget the newscasters. Man, I have a blast there. I don't have to watch a word I say when I'm on that one. You can also find us on television and all other places, all the social media sites there as well. So we're on all of them. Can't get away from them. But the one thread I don't get is absolutely on the newscaster studio. So I do appreciate you guys letting me be there and being part of that team. And I'm going to tell you, they've got a lot of fantastic talk show hosts, much better than I am. And these guys know how to lead. They know how to tell you the truth. So I invite you to please check it out. the newscasters.com, the newscasters.com. Victoria, by the way, is in a contest right now. And so she's basically running things over there. And so she's a bodybuilder, and she is, well, she's not quite as old as I am, but I'm 65, but she's not quite as old as I am. But I'm going to tell you what, you better vote for her. She can win this huge amount of money if this happens and she's on the cover of this magazine. And check it out, vote for her, okay? And she is one of us, even though she looks better than I do. But anyway, she's one of us.
You can still brag.
So anyway, Victoria, I hope you win it. I really do. I've cast my vote for Victoria. So go ahead. Victoria Lee Scott is her name, and you'll find her on Facebook. And she's got all kinds of links and stuff there. So make sure you vote for Victoria Lee Scott, okay? You're voting for a good person if you do that. She lives in California, by the way. She has quite a few stories that are different from what we hear on the liberal media. And I said, oh my, she lives in LA. And I said, you poor girl. Huh? She has owned this business for 30 years. She's a hairdresser as well. And she said, not what you think. And I said, what do you mean, not what I think? And she said, be amazed at the Trumpers that are right here, the MAGAs. And I said, there? And she said,
yeah, we saw him last week, I guess, when he was out there.
Yeah.
A lot of cheaters.
It's just unfortunate that the people who depend on the liberals for their jobs cannot talk. They cannot be, admit that they're MAGA.
Yeah, you got to be quiet.
Yeah. So it's fine if you're established, and there are more and more, people coming out.
Yeah, that's like a couple of the unions, the hierarchy are behind Kamala, but rank and file are not going to vote for her.
Yeah.
So does this mean, now you talked about being quiet, MAGAs have to be quiet. So does this mean if I go on ahead and do that $700 and I get a free trip to South Carolina, well, I need to be quiet when I'm at that rally?
Yeah,
I don't want to go. It's not worth $700 to me to be in the middle of all that. But yeah, wow. Okay, now Chuck and Mary Lynn Bailey, and they're with Alabama Fair Tax. So what's going on in the world of fair tax?
Well, we keep hearing we keep hearing things said by the 45th president, about taxes. He wants to lower the taxes even more than what he did in 17. And he's, I think we've discussed this before. He talked about no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime, and he's added.
What does that sound like to you?
A lot like it. He's added another one though. He's added another one that says no tax on caregivers.
Oh,
because a lot of people they like to stay at home, and be taken care of at home, but there's no provision for removing the taxes from that. So he says we're going to do that too. But the more you get into it, the more it sounds like the fair tax. But we do know that there's talk about a VAT replacing the IRS, but anybody that thinks that replacing the IRS with a VAT is replacing IRS don't know what a VAT is, truthfully, because a VAT is just a more complicated version of the corporate tax we have now.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of just making the product and collecting all the taxes that have been spent on it and then taking that and adding it to the price of the good at the end for the consumer to buy, you get taxed on every piece, every place along the way where value is added to whatever you're making. So you got to account for that all the way through, which means you're increasing the paperwork.
You're embracing embedded taxes.
You're just really embracing embedded taxes by doing that.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy.
It's a hidden tax because it's not charged at the counter. It's embedded in the cost of whatever you're getting. And we actually have what I call a virtual VAT right now because the cost of whatever the taxes that are imposed on at every level are embedded. There's a cost of doing business,
and that's accumulated in business.
They're accumulated. With fair tax, the tax is paid. There's no business to business tax. There's no corporate tax. The tax is collected at retail, only at retail on new goods and services. And so that eliminates all of those taxes, which should lower the cost. If it doesn't lower the cost, whoever's charging the extra is going to be out of business soon. Because
yeah, I forgot you guys have some questions. I'm sorry, I forgot all about it.
Oh, good.
Okay, so Valerie wanted to know what a vanity tax was. I never heard of a vanity tax.
Vanity taxes are smoking for cigarettes and stuff like that. Anything that you really don't need.
It must be like an excise tax.
It's an excise tax.
I never heard of it.
Yeah, some people call it vanity.
I'm not really. I don't know.
That'd be a good one.
Research and talk about that one.
Yeah,
that'd be a good thing to make a little note on for next time.
Right.
Yeah. Let's do one because I'd never heard it, and I have not had time to go look it up. I mean, so I've got. Let me write that down.
I think it's just a matter of definition.
Okay, it could be just like a whatever on it, and you've also had more questions about the prebate, and then I have Tommy said that he's married to a guy, and what would they be considered married if they live together?
The thing about the fair tax is they don't care whether they're considered married or not, because each one of them could submit an application and get the prebate. If they're a legal U.S. citizen, and if they're have a legal Social Security number that they can show that they have proof they have a Social Security number, and then they got to be a resident of the United States. That's all they need. We don't care about your love life or anything like that.
Yeah, for the Alabama fair tax, you have to be a legal resident of Alabama.
So that's the fourth requirement to get the Alabama fair tax.
Brett wants to know. Get my list. Okay, we go. Okay, Brett. Okay, now he was talking about the prebate, and you just answered it. So he was asking about the prebate about illegals. Would they be able to? But you got to have a Social Security number.
Right. You got to apply and get it. You got to apply to be able to get that prebate, and it's a government application, so you're going to be checked to see if you got a Social Security number, and that's going to knock most of them out.
Yeah.
And I thought this one was funny from Ronnie. So Ronnie sends one. He said, "It's none of nobody's darn business." Well, he used another word, business. What I do. So do I even have to do it? He is a citizen, apparently.
Well, you have to get the prebate. You do, but if he doesn't want to take the prebate,
you can remain totally anonymous.
Yeah, but he just won't get. You won't get that. For a single guy, you won't get that couple of $100 a month to pay for his taxes up to the.
But even so, even without getting the prebate, you're still going to be taxed less.
Yeah.
Because if you remove just picture this: there is from 16 to 25% of embedded taxes and everything, depending on the level of production. Leather goods are around 16%. Construction goods are 28%. Cars and things like that. You take that out.
Labor-intensive stuff costs more money in taxes.
Right. So you take that out, and at the federal level, the 23% is probably only a 1% tax, and you have no income tax. So with the prebate, you're actually
he gets what he wants as long as he doesn't get the prebate. He's totally anonymous.
Yeah, you can be totally, and there are people who would prefer to be that way. Of course, the very rich aren't going to be interested in that. Because
chump change.
Yeah, it's probably lunch for them. But for people who actually every penny counts, and for us, I mean, just it's a reasonable amount. It's just like the tax deduction on the income tax. So,
people like me that I'm actually thinking about going to a Kamala rally so I can get $700.
There you go.
Where the prebate really counts, though, is if like you got a family of four, your taxes are going to cost you. It's going to be about the poverty level for that group of four is 2 parents, 2 children, 2 adults, 2 children. You don't have to be any special kind of parent, but at any rate, it's going to give you about $650 a month to cover the taxes you'd have to pay up to the 40K. Then past that, you start paying tax. So your effective tax if you take that and average it out over all the money you would be able to spend, your effective tax is going to be a lot lower than 23%. So
yeah,
you have to get, if you spend up around a couple of $1 million, a family of four would have to spend a couple of $1 million before they actually get up to 23% tax.
right. And actually, if you take the prebates, you never reach 20.
You never reach
23%. But again, there are people who are Christians who don't like to have a social security number, don't like to have that. They want to remain anonymous. I've heard stories of people who don't get driver's licenses because you have to, you get on a database. So
I'm about to that point myself.
I know.
Yeah, I'm getting there.
But the thing is, that's a choice. It is totally, it's freeing. The fair tax is all based on freedom.
And it's the most free tax system you've ever seen.
It doesn't pick winners and losers. That's one thing. If you look at what Trump is talking about,
each one of those things is picking winners and losers. Now, with the fair tax, all of those things are included, and everyone gets them. When there's no tax on Social Security, no tax on tips. The only time you pay a tax is when you buy something at retail, new goods and services. So where you'll make people angry is like the no tax on tips. Well, it'll probably boil down to be people that work in restaurants and places like that. Whereas there are a lot of other services, a lawyer doing some business for a guy to save him from jail, that's a service. So if the guy tips him, is he going to have to pay tax on that tip? That's how ridiculous it'll get.
Well, yeah, it can be. It can be manipulated so that employers can say, well, you don't have to pay taxes on that, so we don't have to pay you as much. That's why the fair tax eliminates all of the problems. It makes it is so simple that it's too simple. The people can't believe that anything could be that simple.
Just one more to show how not going to the fair tax works out, and you say you not have to pay tax on overtime.
Right, but it doesn't.
What's going to happen is some of these jokers that have business are going to say, "Oh, good, I can use less people and let them work overtime and make a lot more money and not have as many people to have to pay for." So you got all kinds of things like that.
Somebody's going to find a way. Yeah.
Right.
And this with the fair tax, you don't have to worry about all that garbage. You just hire people and do the business and make money.
Yeah.
Maddie wanted to know if there is a limit on kids. For the
You know what the limit is? How many can you have?
Well, there's one woman, 19 kids and counting. I think she wound up having a couple more.
You can have 20. She can have 25 if her body can stand it.
Yeah, and actually,
you keep taking, you keep getting the tax you would have to pay on $5,400 per child.
Actually, Elon Musk's recognizes that our world is becoming depopulated. Yeah. And I read it was about a month or so ago that Japan went 3 months without a child being born.
Wow.
Now that is really frightening if you're on Social Security, because those children are the ones that are going to pay your Social Security.
And then rides the fair tax again, because everybody that buys a new product or service pays into the Social Security.
Yeah,
everybody
keeps it from being a pyramid scheme. And actually, the no tax on Social Security. Social Security is due to go bankrupt in 2030 or 2035. It varies, yeah. But if you take away if there's no tax on Social Security, it'll happen sooner.
Yeah.
So what we need to do is, instead of having a pyramid scheme, we need to have a pay-as-you-go system, which is what that would be. Yeah. And it just really frustrates me when you hear these people talking about these elaborate schemes to save Social Security when it is so simple. The American people like Social Security.
You're not going to get rid of it.
If we did,
you might over a period of time under the fair tax, because people slowly realize, hey, I can put this money away myself and do better.
Well, or if you learn in schools learn economics in schools, which it's not taught, and I think that's deliberate. But again, it's a pay as you go, and so there will be no bankruptcy at the end of in 10 years or 5 years or however long we have left.
Well, there's a couple of things about that too. Is that under the current system, it's going to slowly die, like Mary Lynn's talking. But if you go with a fair tax, it's going to, as a minimum, it's going to punch the Social Security and Medicare out into the future, where you can do reasonable things to determine how do we really want to pay retired folks once they get that age and retire. So, and right now we have to remind everybody that this tax is revenue neutral. It's designed to replace all of the taxes that are collected now under the income tax and get rid of all of the lost money and everything to collect an income tax, and you are able to do 23% tax on new goods and services to cover it, and everything else gets paid for. We're talking, the Social Security is still 35% of that chunk of money that they collect every year to go into to that program. So, but the base, the tax base increases from 162 million people roughly to everybody that spends money in the U.S. of A. Everybody, and that's up to
a lot of people are just just here. They're here on visas. There are people just living legally. I mean, there's all kinds of that, and those people are not paying taxes into this stuff, and it just irritates me to no end with people who are coming in illegally.
Right.
And we're giving them money. I mean, we're giving them money. However, the hurricane comes barreling through, and my friends in Asheville, North Carolina, are having a rough time.
Yeah. Well, that sort of thing would be you'd be more able to cover the cost of those kinds of things if you didn't have the income tax just lugging down and holding down the productivity of the United States of America by taking people's money away from them and spending it the way the government thinks it ought to be spent rather than the way the guy doing the work thinks it ought to be spent.
I've never been a fan of FEMA. I really, it's like sending your money to someone to do what you can do for yourself. And civil defense was always, when we were growing up, we had civil defense, and it worked. It was local, and people took care of their friends and family. And with FEMA, it's political.
It's political.
And if
they're sending the FEMA's supposed to be for us. It's supposed to be for Americans. And if you're sending money and you're sending supplies, whatever you're doing, you're going through FEMA and you're going to other countries. That's bad. I mean, that's wrong.
Exactly.
FEMA's to increase the payroll of the U.S. government.
Well, it's also to politically, favor one state or one group over another.
You better change your abortion law if FEMA's not going to come take care of you when the hurricane shows up.
That's a possibility,
Countable.
Or if you're a red state, then, we're not going to take care of you. If you're a blue state, we're in there. So it's anything. You know what? I love Elon Musk. I just think let him loose on the government, it would be awesome.
He's already, I believe Elon's already been let loose on the government.
I just think that would be, he has established a forum for free speech, and which is something that, we haven't had up until now. I mean, well,
he's saying now the First Amendment is almighty, and the Second Amendment protects the First Amendment. He's saying that now. So
so as far as if you can be canceled from YouTube or from Facebook or any of those things, then that's not free speech. And even hate speech is free. It should be free. I don't like it, but I don't have to read it. Right. And
what's wrong with just saying, oh, well, I was just going down the road and go to the next. I mean, why does it have to always be a person's way? And it seems like the most hateful ones are the ones who are insisting on that. Just move on. I mean, that's what you can do. If you don't like it, okay, I don't like a particular hamburger joint. Well, I'm not going to go in there and bash them. I'm just not going to go there. Right. I'll go somewhere else.
That's Gordy do-gooder doing that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I get about 500 emails a day, and I read about 10 of them. I go through and I just delete everything, and then go through and pick out the ones I'm going to read. And you can do that with Facebook. You can do that with YouTube. You don't have to watch anything that's on YouTube. You don't have to read anything that's on Facebook. You don't have to read anything that's on X. But the fact that you have a forum to speak, I think that's the First Amendment, and that's what has been taken away.
It is sacrosanct.
With our American form of Pravda.
Yeah.
I have a lot of friends on Facebook. I have a lot of followers on Facebook. I mean, when you have a show, you will. And so I wish happy birthday to people every day. It's a big thing to me, is wishing happy birthday. And so I've been shut down a few times the past few weeks saying I was sending spam out. How am I sending spam when the friends or followers on Facebook and I'm wishing them happy birthday? How is that? They're friends of mine on Facebook. I'm saying happy birthday.
Yeah. I'm not on Facebook anymore.
I get picked on all the time. And then I have the birthday club. Yeah. So now they're saying I'm sending spam out on that, because what I do is we have sponsors who pay for that every month for people to win like a $20 gift card or something, from the restaurant. And so now there's only 10 of them. Okay. Only 10. So when I get to about the 7th one, the past couple of weeks, it won't let me do it anymore. They say I'm spamming. How's that? I've been doing this for how many years?
Yeah, a long time.
No, they have an algorithm that they set.
Well, I'm just now using that one. It's just been like that. That's not freedom of speech.
No.
I mean, so I guess I'm afraid to get more sponsors. I'm afraid that my pillow guy, the shirt guy. Oh, by the way, the shirt guy, I love that guy. If y'all are familiar with him, Stern. His last name is Stern. Oh, okay. I'm going to send you some info about him. Okay. He is a patriot, and he is reminding me of Mike Lindell with MyPillow.com. So he has these calls out I'm going to have to hurry up. So he has calls out now once a week until election is over with, and to get people to get off their rear and vote. And I'm hearing, and what I've been hearing on these calls is the number of people who say they're Christians who don't vote. Woo, why is that?
Nasty,
okay, guys, 2 minutes. Why are people not voting who claim to be Christians?
It's the nasty old Trump.
No, it's not. It's what it is there are people who believe that God has a plan, and we will follow that plan, and without human intervention.
They don't.
I'm a Christian. I'm a Christian. I don't believe that. I think that God put us out to improve ourselves, and I think that being responsible.
It gives you the tools to do it with, and if you don't use them, that's on you.
Yeah, it's kind of like the guy in the flood that's on top of his roof, and the boat goes by and the helicopter goes by. No, God will save me, and
that was your God saving you. Okay, it's like God may not have an idea for me to be dead this week. That doesn't mean I'm going to go run out in front of a Mack truck. Right. God gives us brains to do things.
Now the Amish are apparently there were 180,000 Amish voters that the Republicans have gone after. Laura Trump and her group have gone after. They were hit by the Biden administration because they sell raw milk to customers, and they
quash on them.
No, not just a quash. I think I don't know if they use SWAT to go after him, but they did make very clear that you're not allowed to do that. And so they apparently they're going to vote this time. Yeah. So they're in Pennsylvania, which is a big, and there are hunters, Second Amendment. You'd think that would be important to them.
There are millions of them.
Yeah, there were only about 40% of hunters, gun owners vote.
Yes, we're going to have to go. The bell just went off. Thank you guys so much for being on the show. It's always a pleasure. Always.
Oh, we always enjoy it.
I'll have to go ahead and get to the next guest, so I'll get back with you with the show as soon as this one is over and about next month. But thank you so much for watching.
Send us the book winner's name.
Yeah, we'll do it. Okay. Thank you guys so much, and y'all take care. See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.